Ladies and gentlemen, the repaint that makes the mold worthwhile. Generations, Fall of Cybertron, Ultra Magnus. Today on World of Stuff. Ultra Magnus here is indeed the repaint of the Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime mold. Although in these colors, he looks much better actually. As if this mold was actually made for him, but they had to use Prime as the repaint. Very strange, don't you think? Ultra Magnus does have some weapons. Here we see the gun that also came with Optimus Prime. So if you have that mold, you can do some nice dual wielding there. But he also came with this rather nice sword. It actually splits into 3 pieces and combines with the gun to make a much larger sword. I'll demonstrate that a little later. In addition to his other weapons, you can also, due to the Universal Pig system, use the weapons from both Fall of Cybertron and Prime. Here we have the Starscream guns, along with the Rumble guns and the Cup/Ironhide guns. Attach these to the sides here. Give them a nice set. And we get something to an effect similar to like a top-down or a Gradius shooter. Silly, but very impressive. Getting back to his own weapons, here we have the gun and the sword again. We will split this into its prerequisite 3 parts. Gotta unpeg it from here. This is a rather long peg. As you can see, we will then put the handle into that slot there. Then everything just kind of comes together. It takes a little bit to figure out, but once you get there... there we are. You get his Grand Maul sword. You would hate to be on the receiving end of that, wouldn't you? Let's move on to transformation, shall we? Surely. Anyway, it is exactly the same, in fact, as the Optimus Prime mold. So just fold down, split the legs, fold down in the feet, just like so. Dirt truck mode. Anyway. Split up the front bumper and twist. Twist that part for arm 1. Twist the hand. I twist them backwards so that they look more cohesive in truck mode. Repeat on the other arm. Then we will move the shoulders upward to reveal the head. Swing the arms down. Fold this tab down, clip in the head, and there we are. There. Generations, Fall of Cybertron, Ultra Magnus in robot mode. Okay, slight thing. We'll actually turn the bumper this way, then go down, so that his bumper is actually going there. Otherwise, it's just going to get in the way. Sorry about that. Here in robot mode, we see the very nice details of this mold in a very different light, along with the very nice new head. Here the smokestacks on the shoulders actually make sense. Although you can fold these down. Why you'd want to do that, I don't know, but you can. Anyway, with the blue and white and a little bit of red, this makes a very different and, in my opinion, much nicer mold than the Optimus Prime one. And since it is the same mold, it makes a much nicer size than some of the other Ultra Magni, which take up a lot, and I do mean a lot, of space. Getting back to weapons, here is the gun again. A lot of people don't like the figure to hold it by this, so they hold it by this one. You can either hold it like that or like that, like I prefer to do. Many people prefer that one because it just looks a lot more cohesive. And then with his sword, you could have him holding it in his hand. You could store it there on his forearm. Looks a bit silly, but you can do that. Or you could have him holding it like they're pegged into his back. It's even more impressive when it's in combined mode, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Anyway, other weapons you can include, like the Fall of Cybertron Jazz for a nice sidearm. Also making a nice appearance, the RID gun, which finally makes sense now. And if you really want to do it, have these guns back on his arms, like so. Now in his bio, it said that no battlefield has fallen when he is upon it. And with a weapons loader like this, you can believe it. Now some of you are wondering, what about the Prime Ultra Magnus weapons? Well, let's find out. So we're now gun mode here. Not so much now. What about the hammer mode? So now, then we do that. No, not really. You'd probably have to tighten the joints to such a degree that they'd almost be immobile. So personally, I just stick with this combined form with his gun and his sword together. Give that to him, which he can most definitely hold, and call it good. As for articulation, head is on a ball joint. Shoulder also ball jointed. Swivel joint for the forearm, along with a swivel joint for the elbows. Wrists just swivel, but yeah, I can live with that. You can rotate his waist. That's only as much as a human, but you don't really need him doing a Tasmanian devil anyway. Anyway, ball jointed on the hips there. Swivel joint for the knees, and let's see here now. Hinge joint and ball joint for the ankles, so you can get some very nice ankle tilts and get him in some very interesting poses. For anyone who skipped the Optimus Prime version of this mold, Ultra Magnus is a definite plus in the alternatives department. With the much nicer blue color scheme and the new head, it just makes more sense as Ultra Magnus. And for those who have the Optimus Prime mold, having Ultra Magnus seems a no-brainer as well, because you already know what you're getting into, plus with the different color scheme of the head, how could you go wrong? Well, that does it for this review. I am the Deceptiwolf. This has been Generations Fall of Cybertron Ultra Magnus. And oh look, he had some friends. Good night.